Feeling friends is this concept that I came up with laying in bed one night. I have all these close friends who have these wonderful stories that can help change the world, life experiences that can help other people believe in themselves, hold tight to their dreams and make their dreams reality. On Feeling Friends, we talk about God, we talk about love, relationships. I have celebrity friends, I have non-celebrity friends. I have church members, family members. But when you watch and listen to Feeling Friends, you will learn and you will laugh. It's a community of friends helping to build each other up. So tune in to Feeling Friends every Sunday on WHCR 90.3 FM, or you can catch me on YouTube at Feeling Friends Radio. All right, I'll see you there. WHCR 90.3 FM, the voice of Harlem. What's up, everybody? It's me, Phil, and I'm back with my bro, making it happen here live on air. Listen, I've got a great friend. I always say I've got my friends, but this is really one of my friends. Actually, everyone is my friend on the show that I've been bringing, but I've known this guest, Candid Brandon. She is the author of Oh Brother, Little Brother. You guys have to get this. She is a Moonbeam Children's Book Award winner, best-selling book author. She's going to make it happen. She's here live in the studio today. We're going to talk about dreams. We're going to talk about stepping out on faith. We're going to talk about motherhood and you believing in yourself to do something for yourself and to create your own world. So here's my friend, without further ado, Candid Brandon. Welcome to the studio.
Hey.
How you doing?
Good. It's so good to see you.
It's so good to see you too. And I just realized I have you in my commercial. So if you guys saw her in the commercial, I use you and Pat for the commercial.
That's crazy.
But thank you so much for coming on.
The hair.
We were talking before the show. She said, I just love to see what kind of hairstyle you're going to do.
Right.
I'm playing with it. But like I told you, Ken, I said, I will never, because I was this whole, I'm not going to say that, but women with long hair, I love women with long hair. But I'll never say anything about another Black woman's hair because, y'all, it's a journey for Black women in hair. It's a whole issue, right?
Welcome to our world.
It's a whole world that I don't really want to be a part of. So tell people who you are, Candid.
My name is Candid Brandon. I don't know, what do I say? I am an independent author, children's author. That's key. I graduated from the illustrious Clark Atlanta University.
You. Yes, you did. And she was such a great person at CAU because you were a senior when I was a freshman.
I was the orientation guy, so I was an OG when your class came in.
Yep, you were the OG, and we were like little kids. We were like, oh God, they're strolling. What are they doing? Because y'all were. It was just a whole different vibe when y'all were there. It was the last year Morris Brown was there, and you all were the orientation guys. But you took us under our wing, like our whole little friend group.
We loved y'all. Yeah, we loved your class. Your class was dope.
And it was cool. It was a cool. CAU was just a great place. It was a great place to be.
I would definitely agree. Oh, I have my.
There you go. What you got in that cup?
Coffee.
Okay.
Because it's my bedtime.
It is our bedtime. It is late. You guys are listening to the show. If you're listening live on air, it is early right now, but it's late. We're recording. Let's talk about this book, Brother. Oh, Brother, Little Brother. Let's talk about why you wrote it.
Yeah. So the crazy thing is, in your intro, even when you were saying about dreams, I think a lot of us, especially creatives, struggle with fear and doubt. So birthing your creative project is scary to put out in the world. So I actually wrote this. I taught elementary school for a couple years, and so I would write during English or when we're teaching language arts, and I would write stories about each one of the kids. Anyway, I found when I was picked a book to read out loud or wanted to recommend books, and even when I went down to the school library, there wasn't, at that time, that was 2005, 2006, 2007, there wasn't a lot of books that feature Black children or even Black experiences. You know what I mean? So even if they had the little token Black kid in the background, that kid still looked white. It was just painted brown.
Exactly.
There's like
little
no
pointy nose and little,
yeah, like you
little
can't say,
brother.
"Oh, they got braids." Oh,
Right,
that you know what I'm saying? Like there was
right.
nothing that was familiar
Mhm,
to the Black experience. So, um, I wrote the book, and at that time too, Spike Lee and Tanya Lewis Lee, wrote, "Please, Baby, Please," and
okay.
so illustrated by Kadir Nelson.
Mhm,
Kadir Nelson's work is phenomenal. Like, he
mhm,
is an amazing illustrator, and so I just
mhm,
fell in love with the book, but has the same kind of cadence that Oh Brother, Little Brother does, which is where I got the idea from.
okay.
So anyway, I wrote the book and I chose Little Black Boys because it was just like I just knew how they're villainized. They're not looked as
Right,
kids. They're not looked
absolutely.
as children. So I wanted to show little Black boys doing
Mhm,
normal childhood things that are
mhm,
familiar to every kid.
absolutely.
So fast forward, I had my first child
Mhm,
in 2014,
mhm,
and I introduced Please Baby Please to her.
mhm,
So we're reading it, she's loving it. We gotta read it
mhm.
over and over and over and over
Yeah.
and over again.
The
And
kids like that repetition. They like that
they
over and over.
do. And so my husband hated the book. He was like, "This book is so stupid. Like, why does it
Yeah.
saying all this stuff over again?" And so I had to, as a teacher, had to
Mhm,
explain what repetition means. The kids start, memorizing the book
mhm,
and reading it themselves. So then that prompted me to pick up Oh Brother, Little Brother as
mhm.
a just in my computer.
Right.
And I went from there. And then I made sure, like I was very intentional with
Mhm,
every word choice, making sure that they were sight words,
mhm.
um, level appropriate, and then with some
Yeah.
challenge words.
Mhm.
And even working with the illustrator, I think I was talking to you earlier that
Yeah.
actually Romanian and she's from the UK. And so if if you can flip to the page of like let's brush your hair.
Uh-huh.
So like she had like a white people comb.
Oh, oh, this right here. Can you see that little
Yeah,
bus?
yeah.
And you
And
have to
so
put a pic there, right? But
I
let
had
people
to
have
tell
comment.
her, I had to send her pictures. I said, "Here is hair grease.
With hair
Here
grease. You
is"
see the hair grease right there?
I was like, "Here's what like we use," because
What did she put in there? Mousse or something? Did you put?
she didn't even have that. She had like a regular that one kind of comb, almost like when we took pictures at elementary school and they gave you that comb.
It's like, this ain't gonna work for me. This ain't gonna work for my hair.
So like
That's
those
good.
kind of things, like those are Black experiences, and that's one of the
Mhm.
things that I hear from kids, like when they're
Right.
like especially little boys, they're like, "Oh, look, like my mama uses that to do my
Yeah,
hair,"
absolutely.
so
Absolutely. You should have put Blue Magic if they would have sponsored
yes,
you.
that was
Blue Magic 360 wave grease or something. But it's all about representation. And it's
yes,
so important for our kids to see people that look like them. You have two daughters, right? Two daughters,
yep,
three?
and my stepdaughter lives with
They're
me,
your
yeah.
stepdaughter. And it's all
Mhm,
about representation. And they have to see themselves. They have to see a person that looks like them. That's why the Cosby Show was so important back in the day, right?
mhm.
What was it
Yep,
like for you growing up? Because you grew up in Flint, right?
I did. Yeah, so the crazy thing is where people, especially when you talk about color complex,
Mhm,
um, for me, it was
mhm,
crazy, like, coming to Atlanta and
mhm.
people were asking me, was I mixed? Was
Uh-huh.
I Dominican? Was I
Okay.
Moroccan? I was like, "What the fuck is Moroccan?" Like, I didn't even know.
No. I don't have a bleep button, Candy. I can't bleep you. I can't bleep you out. Don't cuss. No.
Oh, sorry, sorry, sorry. So,
It's-
so,
That's
yeah.
something that in New York. That's a whole New York thing when people do that.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
it's Flint isn't like that. Like,
Yeah,
we
of
are
course.
very
Dallas
much
isn't like that either. Where I'm from, it's not like that either. Yeah,
yeah, so it's very much you're either Black or white
black
or
or white. It is, yeah,
Hispanic, and that was it.
right.
Like
Absolutely. That's how it was with me growing up. Uh huh.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I was
It's one of
hearing
your
something.
babies.
So
Okay.
so anyway, but yeah, so like,
Mhm,
for me,
mhm,
brown girls were
yeah.
like gorgeous and just
Okay.
so I always had a color complex. I always
Did
wanted
you?
to be darker. So it
Really?
was interesting
Mhm.
to go down south and like light skin was or
Yeah.
fair skin was kind of
Mhm.
heralded. Like I was like, really? Like
Really? Yeah.
like like I'm trying to get out in this sun and
Yeah.
be
Right.
at least like
Yeah.
move from fair skin to
Well,
yellow.
well, let's talk about that since we're on that topic, and especially you have girls about loving yourself and loving who you are. Did it take you a while to come into yourself and say, "I love myself"? And what are you teaching your daughters about themselves and having that self pride? And you, if you are light skinned, you're light skinned, and that's black and that's beautiful.
Yeah.
What is that, and how's that for you?
Yeah. So I think for me, it's always a journey. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like just
Yeah.
I mean, because we came from a place that, my hair was permed when I was 5, so
Yeah.
even like coming into I love my hair, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Absolutely. Yeah.
so, but what's interesting about kids is that what I realized when I had, so I think, I don't know if I realized it when I had my second one. So they're
Mhm.
2 years apart.
Okay.
The thing is, I think the biggest thing that we have to realize is that they're not ours.
Mm.
Right? Like,
Mhm.
they
That's interesting.
they're born and they have their own purpose. They
Yeah.
have you know what I mean? Like,
Wow.
they're gonna be a vessel in this world that has
Mhm.
their own journey, and so
Right.
we're just here to facilitate that. We're
Wow.
not
That's
here
huge,
to say
Candid. I never thought
that's
about that before.
huge.
That's
Yeah,
huge. Yeah.
and when that revelation came to me, it was like, "Okay, start paying attention to who they are."
Mm. That's powerful.
So when grew up as an only child. I have half brothers and sisters, but in my
I'm the only
home
child too.
yeah, so
Yeah. Mhm.
I didn't have these dynamics, but when
Yeah.
I saw my oldest, so she's 7 now, and then
Okay.
my, youngest is 5,
Mhm.
they're completely different from the
Oh, yeah.
same parents, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
so it's like what this one needs is different with that one needs. How this
Mhm.
one handles something is different how that one handles something. So we had to start looking at who they are as people because they
Right.
come out with a personality.
They
Like they
really do,
like,
right?
"Hey, I'm here. Like, what's
Yeah.
up?" Like,
Mhm.
you
Right.
know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Who
Like
are
they
you?
come
What are we doing
out.
today?
Yes. They come
Right.
out like that. So I think that was really powerful for me. So when you say like, how do I encourage them and um I really well, me and my husband focus on, their character.
Right. Right.
So, I think that makes it easier, to have conversations about whatever they face out in the
Yeah.
world, and so, race is a really hard topic. Like,
Is it?
my
Why is
young
it a hard? Why is it a hard topic? Why is race a hard
because
topic?
I
Is it
think
hard?
because it's a social construct. So, it's like,
Mm.
how do you explain that shit? Like,
Yeah.
sorry, how do you
It's
explain
hard.
it?
It's hard.
Like how do you explain it? It's
Yeah.
difficult for a 5-year-old to
Right.
understand because especially mine, like, she's lighter than me. So she's
Yeah.
like, we I'm
Yeah.
always like, "We're black," and she's like, no, I'm beige."
Right. Yeah.
I'm like I'm
Yeah.
like, "No, no, no, no. We're our race is black." And then she's like,
Right.
nope, I'm
I'm the
beige."
same color as crayons. I don't understand what you're talking about. Yeah. But it is about them seeing a strong black woman. It's about them being around, going to
Yeah,
Atlanta, going to homecoming, seeing your friends who are black women, strong black
yep,
women. That's very important too. And I often hear mixed couples and they don't want to talk about race. We don't see
mhm,
color. But if you don't
yeah,
see color, you're a liar because you
yeah.
do see color. Are you blind? What's the problem? That's a whole another
Speak
topic.
on
But
it. Yeah.
you said something very important about motherhood, and you had a series on motherhood, and I think you had great topics about that. You said you mentioned that they're not our own, and we're a part of being. You are the vessel. I don't have any kids, but you're the vessel. Uh,
Yeah.
what other tips that you may have for parents who might be struggling? Just with this
Yeah.
thing with parenthood and life and just everything in general. Just trying to balance everything.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure that out. But I think, like, so that series you're talking about, I did
Mhm.
it around the anniversary of Oh Brother, Little Brother. So, like, every day
Mhm.
I had, like, somebody speak to I guess, the world of siblings, you know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
so and I think one of the most interesting conversations was, about the kinda like the stereotypes of, like, the personality of the oldest child or the middle
Mhm.
child or the youngest child, um, or an only child, you know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Right, yeah.
So, um, I think kinda what I said before, I think if you really start paying attention to your child and seeing what their personality is, kinda what their characteristics are, and really just, like, playing up to that and
Right,
versus, like, being like, "Well, I really want you to be this," or "I
right,
really want you to do this."
right,
Like,
right.
my seven-year-old is hypersensitive, like, she feels deeply, she
Mm,
empathizes deeply, like,
absolutely.
she's she she feels and loves so hard, and so
Mhm.
we have to be cognizant of that, you know what I mean? Of, like, what, um things could trigger her or you know what I
Mhm.
mean? The other one, the littlest one is like, "What's that?" Like, "I'm here," like,
Mhm.
"What we do?" Like, she don't
You
care
don't
about
care.
nobody,
Yeah,
like, she
yeah,
like, "I do what I want, when I want, how I want,"
yeah.
like,
And I
all
think it's different because I've seen my friends, all our friends having kids now.
Yeah.
Um, our college friends are so different from our high school friends. I don't know if you have a difference. It's a huge difference, but I've noticed that we don't our parenting, the mindset is
Mm,
different, especially from our parents. It's
mhm,
not I'm gonna whoop you, you go, it's not that anymore. It's a let me
mm-mm.
figure out what's wrong. Let me develop, let me grow with this child. Let me cater to, in school we call it differential learning.
Yeah.
Let me figure out what this child needs versus the other child. That's so important, right? Because you have to know your kids, like you said.
Yeah, it's super important because there's not I mean, you don't approach life that way, like, there's not blanket solutions to all situations. So,
Right.
if if you're giving this kid, the hypersensitive kid, a tough love, like, "Suck it up, don't be
Right.
crying," like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just
Right.
like,
Yeah.
no, that's how she
Yeah.
needs to release and,
Yeah.
she needs to feel those feelings right now, like, and
Absolutely.
that's okay.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, so I think there's that, I would can I talk about maybe
Yeah.
some
We
suggestions
can
for
talk about it.
literacy?
Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. Go ahead.
Okay. So, like, because we were also talking about the pandemic earlier.
Mhm.
So, like, I think a lot of us, as parents, like, we're able to get a glimpse of school
Oh
life,
yeah.
and so so we got a glimpse of that and just not only what teachers go through, but maybe you got to see how your child learns or, like, see some of the struggles that
Right.
it makes sense now what the teacher was trying to tell you
You
at
called it. What did you call it? Being a para professional at the
Yeah,
house.
yeah, the virtual parapro, like like, 'cause I had
This is not easy. And let me tell you something. It's not easy for parents being It's not. It's a hard job.
no, and I
Yeah.
had to Chandler did half of kindergarten her last semester in kindergarten and all of 1st grade virtual.
Oh
So I
wow.
was cutting out letters, I'm
Oh
cutting
yeah.
out I was like but no, what I was gonna say was, like, I think reading is one of the harder things, sometimes for parents, and so
Mhm.
I think, like, some things that you can do, um, to create more, like, pleasure reading, because you
Mhm.
want them to enjoy the book, not that it's homework
Absolutely.
and they
Right.
have to, because you
Uh-huh.
wanna create lifelong readers, because really,
Absolutely.
you just need to know how to read. You can
Absolutely.
in life,
You have
like,
to
you
know how to
can figure
read. And
everything
a
out.
lot of
Yeah,
older adults, and I didn't realize this till recently, a lot of people cannot read, or they
yeah,
read on like a second grade level. You'd be surprised. I
yeah,
really, really can.
and
Yeah.
and you can when you do that, you can start making connections, you can do critical
Right.
thinking, like, there's just so many things that you could do.
Absolutely.
So, like, if you have books at home and you have them on the
Mhm.
bookshelf,
Mhm.
that kinda says to kids, like, "I can't go and touch that shelf and pull the
Okay.
books down," you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because 'Cause they're on
Okay.
display. So, if parents, like, kinda put some books out on a table or in a
Okay.
book basket or something, like, by the TV or coffee table or something like that, when
Okay.
kids walk by, they'll be like, "Oh, what's that book?" And, like, pick it up. I did it with my kids, like,
Okay.
I would switch them out every week, and they would notice that. You know, they're like, "Oh,
Really?
it's a new book right here." So they would just grab it and look through it. I don't know if they
Okay.
really bought them or not, but
Uh-huh.
it got them experiencing the book.
Experience. Right. At
Yeah.
least looking through the book, and then maybe they'll find something to sit down and read it. Right.
Yeah, or ask
Okay.
somebody to read it to them, you know what I
Right.
mean? So, I
Okay.
think that's a good tip of, like, just getting them, more acquainted with books at
That's a
home.
really good. That's a really good idea. I never thought about that. I never thought about if a book is on the bookshelf, don't pick it up. I
Yeah,
mean,
because
to
it's
a
on
kid, you know,
display.
as a kid, you know.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
if you take it down, I don't know if you like, do I
Right.
put it back right or
Right. Exactly. Right. And depending on what kind of parents you got, who told you to get out my book?
Exactly.
What
So
other tips do you have for them?
yeah, so, like, at schools, they always, like, read 30 minutes a day or 20
Mhm.
minutes a day. Well,
Mhm.
that's not realistic. Like,
Okay.
you you got activities after school, you gotta cook, you gotta feed them
Right.
kids,
Right.
like
You do. You
you
definitely
gotta
do.
give them a bath. It's
Yeah.
like, "Wait, I'm supposed to spend how many minutes?" Like, reading?
Right.
So, if you have to for, like, homework check marks or
Mhm.
whatever, or if you just wanna do something real quick, my
Right.
suggestion would be, like, to read a quick poem.
Oh, cool.
And that's like
Cool.
a minute or 2, you know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Like,
Yeah.
if you get,
Okay.
like,
Perfect.
one of the remember, like, Shel Silverstein, like, Light in the Attic or something like that? Even a
Yeah.
silly poem or a joke, even if they have a joke book, like, have them
Yeah.
read that or you read that to them, and that
Listen, Mike,
way
I had kids. We read Langston Hughes and Nicky Giovanni up in here. We read the black man is a black man because a brother is a, that's what we read about.
they'll be like, "Life no crystal stairs."
Right. Life ain't been no crystal stair. We had to walk on tacks and they be like, that
You're
man is
like,
crazy.
"This reading time is depressing."
Right. Yeah. Okay. That's a really good. That's a good.
Yeah.
Any more? You have any more for them?
I would say too, like in the car, I notice like I'll play my music and
Okay.
they're starting to repeat some ratchet music.
Oh,
So sometimes so sometimes to avoid that, like I'll put in an
okay.
audiobook and in my where I live in my
Mhm.
county, our school, our public library has an
Mhm.
app so you
Okay.
can check out audiobooks.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah, so check your local library and see if they have, an app and,
That is really good.
yeah,
That's a good one because I
free.
was talking to somebody yesterday about a kid listening to books instead of reading, and I thought, well, maybe the kids should read because the kid's not reading on the reading level, but maybe if they start listening, they would want to read. I don't know. I don't know how that connection, but that's a
Yeah.
good idea.
So both ways, like
Right.
some might be auditory, so they might
Right.
enjoy that. But
Right.
if you're just in the car for 20 minutes or less, you know what I mean? Like you
Right.
can they have the I mean, you don't see the pictures
Mm.
but it's short book and they like it. And now my 7-year-old is kind of getting into early chapter books, so I can play
Okay.
like Captain Underpants or something and
Yeah,
she's
stuff
like
like that.
all
Yeah.
into it.
Oh, good, good. That's important. Reading is very important. Make sure your children read.
Yeah.
Let's. I want to talk. I want to jump back into um, the book because you wrote this book. You guys get it. And where can people get? I'm trying to look over the thing. Where can people get this book?
Yeah,
Where
so you can, get it on Amazon. You do
Amazon.
have to put in "Oh Brother, Little Brother" by Candid Brandon.
By Candid Brandon. Okay,
I don't know, I have to figure out what that issue is,
what that's
but
about.
you can also go to my website and order it, Candid
Well, what's
Brandon.
your website? Let's do that. Let's have go to your website and order it too. What's
Yeah,
up your website?
candidbrandon.com.
CandidBrandon.com. Make sure you guys go check it out. Was it difficult writing a book?
So, no. I think it was difficult, um refining it, I think. And I
Mhm.
think probably every writer kinda goes through that, like, it wasn't so difficult getting it all out, it was difficult, like, going back in and being like, "Do I take that word out? Do I put that in?" You know, like, "Am I too attached to this sentence?" Or you know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like, so it was that, um, and then finding a good fit for the illustrator. I think that was
Was it? Wow. Well, I am so proud of you. I wish we had more time because they've got a lot of stuff to talk about. You're going to write a new book, right?
Yeah, so, hopefully in February, the printer right now, this time of year, gets really backed up, so
Okay.
it's at the printer right now, it's called
Okay.
Unapologetic Hair, It's based on this little girl named Amina. She was named
Okay.
after the Zarya warrior princess Amina.
Okay.
And she basically is like fighting her mom. Her mom keeps trying to straighten her hair, and she like, leave my hair alone.
Leave it alone. Leave it alone.
Yeah. So I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to releasing that to the world. So
I can't wait. I can't wait for it to come out. What are your final thoughts to our audience? What would you have to say about
yeah.
anything about believing in yourself or anything? What's your final thoughts today?
I think the biggest one is like act. You know what I mean? Like just act on it. I wish I had, I had this idea years ago and then I'm just now publishing it or just now, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
being out in the world. So I think if you have like an idea, I think where we are now is like we were kind of raised or told that you can only have one thing and you have to do that one thing well.
Oh
I
yeah,
think
absolutely.
a lot of people have a lot of things and they
Absolutely.
can do them well. And so
A
I
lot
just
of gifts, a lot of
encourage you.
talents.
Yeah. So just do everything, get it all out before you die.
Absolutely. You know, somebody told me one time they came up to me, some random old lady. She said, "Do you know where the most gifts and talents are, or who had the most gifts? I don't know." But anyway, she said, I messed the whole thing up. But she said it was in the graveyard. She said people die with all their gifts and all their talents, never use them.
Wow.
I think she was just telling me to use whatever I got. And she was a
Yeah.
random lady in Long Beach. I'll never forget. I just moved to LA. She was like, "You got to use your gifts. You got to use your talents. You don't know what's going to happen, but anything is possible, right?"
Definitely. That's deep.
Definitely.
Yeah,
That is
no,
deep.
she said it better. So
She said
that's what
it
I want to
better.
say.
So to the audience, believe in yourself. You got a dream. You have goals. You want to attain them. Be like Candid. Just put it out there. You probably already have it in the book. You probably already need to get it published. You can reach out to
Yep.
Candid. I'm sure she can give you some advice, but believe in yourself and anything is possible. Get our friend's book. Oh, brother, little brother. I'm going to read this to some kids.
Yay.
Candid, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Hold tight, all right?
Okay.
All right. We'll see you guys later. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time.